Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about Seth Rogen's new Christmas special series, Santa Inc., that just came out on HBO Max, because this show was one of the biggest embarrassments of all time, and it's honestly kind of sad to see how far Seth Rogen has fallen, because like most people in Hollywood, he used to be pretty funny and entertaining, and then he got into politics, and it all went downhill from there. But it's not that big of a deal, because now, instead of laughing at him for actually doing something funny or saying something funny, we can just laugh at him for being completely out of touch and confused all the time. Like the way he reacted to the criticism from his Christmas special that he just put out was probably one of the funniest things he's done in the past 5 years. So this show that he's in, Santa Inc., you can look it up. It's got some of the worst reviews of all time. On the Rotten Tomato meter, at one point, it was sitting at 1%. Like, that's unheard of for the audience score. And on IMDb, it had a 1.1 out of 10, which I think makes it one of the lowest rated shows of all time. And the trailer for the show on YouTube, I think it has something like 4,000 likes and over 100,000 dislikes. And they also removed the comments. So now that YouTube doesn't have the dislike button and this trailer doesn't have the comments, nobody can see that everyone basically agrees that this is one of the worst shows of all time. And HBO also put up some promo videos with Seth Rogen and Sarah Silverman for the show, and of course those comments are disabled as well, even though every other video that HBO has posted has comments. So they're all aware that the show is a complete disaster, and I wouldn't be surprised if they just took it down eventually because it's so bad. Like, I would imagine Seth Rogen wants to have this wiped from the internet, but of course for now he can't admit that this show's a flop and people don't like it. Instead, he's gonna blame all the negative criticism on white supremacists, because everyone knows when something doesn't go well for you, it's because of white supremacy. So Seth Rogen tweeted this probably when he realized that his show was a complete disaster and nobody liked it. He tweeted, "We really pissed off tens of thousands of white supremacists with our new show, Santa Inc., which is now available on HBO Max. Please read the responses to this tweet for confirmation." And of course, the comments are just all white supremacists, because that's all Twitter is just white supremacists getting ready to comment on Seth Rogen's tweets. I don't understand how these people haven't figured out yet that it's not going to help your case by just calling everyone a white supremacist. And he's basically saying, hey, white supremacists didn't like my show, so that means you should go watch it, because you're not a white supremacist, so obviously you would think it's good. Like, this is why this TV show is so terrible. Like, look how you're promoting it. And he's making it way too obvious that he's just angry that his show is not doing well, so he's just gonna blame it on all the white supremacists out there. Like, most people don't like your show because it's not good, not because they're white supremacists. And I think this tweet is very telling, because it almost feels like he spends his time trying to piss people off. Like, he's not making the show to make a good show. He's making the show to piss people off, basically. He's like made it way too obvious that all he's focused on is just making fun of Republicans, Christians, and America, which I have no problem with. Like, if you want to make fun of that stuff, go ahead, but make it funny. Like, at this point, it's just so repetitive. It's like beating a dead horse. I don't know when Hollywood is going to realize that this isn't working. People do not enjoy this kind of entertainment, and most of it is just way too forced and in your face. Like, the trailer for this movie, all political. Like, is that really what people want right now? Is that what people are looking for? And if you want to make something political, it's okay. Just tone it down a notch. Like Squid Game, that's a good show and that's somewhat political. It's just not in your face. It's not like so obvious where you're like, all right, I've heard this a billion times. Like, it's something more interesting that can get you thinking. And that's exactly why Hollywood is falling apart, and places like South Korea are putting out great shows and great movies. Like, one of the best movies, I think, in the past 5 years, probably my favorite in the past 5 years, came out of South Korea. The movie Parasite, if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend checking it out. I'm pretty sure it won Best Picture in 2019, and that movie is somewhat political as well, but it's more creative and it's original, and it's not just the same repetitive bullshit over and over again. And also, back to the show that Seth Rogen was in, shows like this just feel like Seth Rogen and the cast are trying way too hard to be like, listen, we're good people here. We're good people for pointing all this stuff out. And they try to act like they're brave for doing this stuff too. Like, dude, everyone is doing this right now. Turn on any late night show. They're gonna be saying the same shit that you're saying on your show. Like Seth Rogen's tweet that said his show pissed off a bunch of white supremacists. It feels like he's just trying to say, I'm a good guy here. I pissed off a bunch of white supremacists. My show's doing the right thing, obviously. And his show probably did piss off some white supremacists, but like, I mean, everyone's a white supremacist in his book, so like, who's he even talking about? I'm sure there are some real white supremacists that are saying anti-Semitic stuff to him, which is terrible, but that's what's gonna happen. This is the internet, you know? The same logic he used when he's talking to Casey Neistat. He's like, if you live in a city, you just know your car is gonna get broken into once in a while. So it's the same thing with the internet. You know people are gonna be rude to you. You know, there's always gonna be people committing crimes, and there's always gonna be people that are racist and homophobic and anti-Semitic. Obviously, I would like it if there's none of that, but realistically, that's probably never gonna happen. And also, I don't think there are that many people that are being anti-Semitic to Seth Rogen. Like, I looked through a bunch of comments and a bunch of reviews, and I really didn't see anything. And again, I'm sure there are people that are saying some terrible shit to him, but that is what he wants here. Like, that's why he made the show. He didn't make the show to be entertaining or funny. He made it as a political statement, basically, and to piss people off to prove that he's a good guy. He literally said himself, you should watch this show because white supremacists hate it. That is such a weird way to promote a TV show that basically everybody hates. And also, there's just no point of saying that. Like, who the hell is wondering if white supremacists like a TV show or not? They're white supremacists. I don't give a shit about what they think. I want nothing to do with them. So I think Seth Rogen is trying to do two things here. He's trying to prove that he's the good guy because he makes TV shows that apparently white supremacists don't like, and who wants to be watching the same show as a white supremacist? And then also, the second thing, he knows his TV show is complete garbage, so he's trying to deflect by bringing up the fact that white supremacy exists. I mean, it's just pathetic. It's sad to see. I can't believe this guy used to be like a big time comedic actor, and now he's on Twitter tweeting about how his show pissed off thousands of white supremacists. Like, I'm sure when most people are scrolling through Twitter and they see Seth Rogen tweeting about how white supremacists got all pissed off about his new show, they're probably like, who cares? Like, why are you bragging about that? Like, who the hell is going to stop and be like, oh, that's awesome. Some rich white millionaire actor is telling me I should go watch his show because he pissed off white supremacists? That's awesome. I love choosing what TV show to watch based on what white supremacists think. And also, this is a white guy telling you this who's very successful in America, which if he thinks is full of white supremacists, then he's benefited from white supremacy. Like, if everyone complaining about this TV show is a white supremacist, then I guess most of his fan base are white supremacists. And it's just insulting because he's saying if you don't like my TV show, then you agree with a white supremacist. And this show is garbage too. Most people are not going to enjoy it. But there obviously will be some Seth Rogen fans still, I guess, that just have blinders on and are like, oh, Seth Rogen's in a movie, so I have to watch it and it must be funny. And you guys go watch the show for yourself. Maybe you will enjoy it. But I saw some of it and it's just awful. Like, it's unwatchable. It's just the same political humor that every talk show, TV show, movie has had in the past 5 years. And it's an animated adult comedy that seems like it's from the 2000s. And it seems shitty for even the 2000s. It seems like just the fact that they're swearing as an animated children's character makes it funny. Like, I'll play a part from the trailer here so I can show you what I mean.
When you're a kid, there's only one day a year more special than any other day, and that day is Christmas. And we are the magic behind that day. So let's get these fucking kids some fucking presents!
Bravo!
You see what I mean? The whole joke here is that these look like some innocent characters from a kid's TV show or something, and then all of a sudden Sarah Silverman starts saying fuck. That's literally the joke here, that she's just swearing. Like, even for the 2000s, this would be terrible. And this is kind of similar to that movie Sausage Party. I think it's by the same, like, producers or something, and obviously Seth Rogen's in it. And I remember when I saw that movie, I didn't think it was very funny, because it felt like the whole joke was just the fact that they're animated food and they're swearing. Alright, so let's see what else is going on in this trailer. Maybe there's something funny.
There have been many Santa Clauses throughout history. Some were loved, others loathed. But the position of Santa has mostly been a white man's game.
Exactly, it's fucking crazy. Things have gotta change.
My advice to you is, oh, if I die, get rid of my porn!
I wanna be the next Santa.
Who the hell wrote these jokes? These seem like recycled jokes from like the 90s that were shitty for the 90s. If I die, get rid of my porn? Are you kidding me? And I guess the idea of the show is that this woman wants to take over the position of Santa, which I don't have a problem with. If they want to have the first female Santa, then go ahead, but just make it funny. I'm sure that's what women want too. Like, if this is some feminist movie, at least make it funny so people aren't just shitting on it. And of course, the fact that this is the first movie with a female Santa or whatever, that makes it so Seth Rogen can say that if you don't like it, then you're sexist. And there's no way you might not like it just because it's a garbage show. Like, Seth Rogen, he's barely even an actor anymore. He's more of just an activist. And his whole shtick of smoking weed is getting so old at this point. Like, you're not funny just because you smoke weed. Like, every show he goes on, people are like, oh, so you smoked weed today? Oh yeah, I did. Like, no shit, it's Seth Rogen. Who cares if he smokes weed? He's smoking weed 24/7. Nobody thinks it's funny anymore. And are people that smoke weed supposed to be chilled out? Like Snoop Dogg, that dude smokes weed. I never see him getting in Twitter arguments or anything. Like, that guy's just having a good time. And Seth Rogen just seems like he's worked up all the time. And it's just annoying. Like, we get it. He smokes weed. Like, everything I see about him is like, oh, Seth Rogen smoked weed today. I kept seeing news articles that said he attended some Adele concert high, which who the fuck cares? Like, that's news. It'd be more impressive if he wasn't high. If I saw an article that said Seth Rogen wasn't high at some event, that'd be like, wow, that's surprising. The whole persona and shtick of just smoking weed is getting old at this point. Like, you're not funny because you smoke weed. And also, Seth sells these $500 rolling trays. Like, he complains about capitalism all day long, and then he'll sell a tray for $500 just because his name is attached to it. And he's worth like $80 million. Like, this dude does not need any money. Alright, so that's about it for this video. I think that's enough of a Seth Rogen rant I just went on. So make sure you leave me a comment, let me know what you think of Seth Rogen, and then hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you at the next video.